Thanks you for tuning in to Turn to the Stars. My name is Andrea Klim, and I am an astrological counselor from the local Manchester area. And I want to say thank you to everyone who's tuned in today. We so appreciate your support here at Turn to the Stars. And we have a really great show planned for you today. We have a guest who is going to be, who is actually on the telephone right now, and she is calling in from Guernsey, British Isles, and her name is Sharon Wards, and I want to say a huge welcome, Sharon.
Hi, Andrea. How are you?
I'm great today. How are you doing?
Very good, thank you.
What's the weather like in the British Isles?
Oh, I would love to tell you it's sunny, but it's not. It's foggy and rainy.
Well, we're joining you in that as well here.
Oh, okay.
I am so thrilled about today's show because this has been building for a couple months, and Sharon is a professional astrologer. She is the author of this book that you're seeing as the topic of today's show, which is Albotains Treasure, and it is truly a treasure. She is a Reiki master. She is a student of nutritional interesting. The story of how this has all come to be and how Sharon has come to be on the TV show today, and how this connection formed between the two of us. Can you tell our audience a little bit about that, Sharon?
Yes, Andrea, certainly. I was working with my daughter over the summer, and she was looking through the internet. She found your wonderful show, and she's very intuitive, my daughter Evie, and she just said, Mum, you need to do something with this lady. She's lovely. Look at her. She's amazing. So we watched a couple of videos of you, and then I called you, and from the first time I spoke to you, Andrea, there's just been this absolutely beautiful connection, really lovely, and I'm so happy and grateful to have met you on a personal level as well as a professional level, definitely.
Oh yeah, it really kind of took me back when I got the phone call, and I was kind of shocked because I think in the times we're living in, being astrologers worldwide, we are all experiencing such incredible changes in our lives.
Yes.
And it is just so wonderful to be able to connect with the other side of the world. And for us to be bringing this together to the people, to the audience, to everybody watching this show, because Turn to the Stars has really grown in the 3 years we've been on TV. And I am so thrilled. My heart is just warm with the excitement of what's happening with Turn to the Stars and that we're reaching the other side of the world and beyond.
Absolutely.
So I wanted to... when this opportunity came up, and Sharon actually sent me her book, Albotains Treasure. And as you heard me earlier say that this book is a true treasure, it truly is. And the experience that I had reading this book, you know, I was thinking about it driving here this morning. And as I'm pumping gas in my car, I'm thinking to myself of Harsh Reality, who is in Sharon's book. And what we did was, and I thought of many other things too, Sharon, because the story is so realistic, yet so mystical, yet from a perspective of somebody in my shoes and in your shoes, it is so real of the walk we walk. And
it is supposed to be. It is a reflection of the many levels of human life, really, spiritual and psychological and emotional. So, yes. That was the intention for the book.
Well, you truly have reached that. When I was thinking of the experiences and the many awakenings I had reading the book, and
that's lovely. Thank you.
Yes, it really did touch my heart, and that's why we're here today, because I want to tell the world about this. And you know what we did, our audience, I want to let you know, Sharon sent me a lot of her pictures of her life and who she is so that we could bring that to you with music. And I created a video yesterday, and we put her pictures together with music, and I'd love to play that for you right now so that you can get a good glimpse of, just sort of an overview of who Sharon is. So we're going to play that, and we'll be right back. That was just really beautiful. Sharon, thanks for sharing your pictures with our audience and anyone who's watching this. You get a real glimpse at the book. You get a glimpse at how beautiful Guernsey is.
It is, absolutely.
Oh, it's just breathtaking. It really
is. It's a nice place. It's a good place to live, Andrea. It's not. It's kind of a little bit away from the real world, and I like that.
Yeah, it must be, because looking at the pictures, I don't see harsh reality too much there.
Maybe you just followed me here for a while.
Well, harsh reality, I think, is life, but I think what's so beautiful about your video, your pictures, is we get to see some pictures of your family, some pictures of your friends, pictures of the people who support you, and that's so important on our life's journey for all of us.
Absolutely. I think for you and I, Andrea, it's very important we have our family connections, isn't it, to keep us grounded and keep us connected.
Absolutely, because it keeps us real, and I want to make sure that we talk a lot about your book today. And Sharon, how did the vision or the idea for writing Albotains Treasure come about?
I think really, Andrea, it was a combination of factors, really. It was the fact that Guernsey is a very spiritual place. It's very uplifting, and the natural beauty here, the cliffs and the sea, really gave me the inspiration to write a spiritual novel. And I think before I came to Guernsey, my life was quite challenging, really, and coming here opened up my mind and my heart, and to the fact that life can be wonderful. It doesn't have to just be harsh reality, that cloaked figure in the background in the book. It can be something else. And I felt that I owed Guernsey, and also the spiritual forces that have helped me find my way through some periods of darkness, I owed them a debt, and I wanted to show my gratitude as they'd really changed my life forever. And I felt that a book would be my way of saying thank you to those amazing forces that have seen me to where I am today, and to share with people some of the treasures that I've discovered along the way in my own journey.
Wow, that is quite a way to share it with the world.
Yeah, it was a bit of a task. Ed is the main character. Obviously, Albotain is one of the main characters, but Ed is the main character as well. And he finds a new path when he comes to Guernsey, and Ed is very similar in personality to myself, I think. And he learns about a new way of life when he arrives in Guernsey, and he discovers his spiritual destiny. But he also learns about personal relationships as well. He becomes a different person. The book is a spiritual guidebook, but it's also a love story and a story of human progression as well.
Yeah, that's what I liked about it. I tell you, I would have the book here in my hand today, but I've already lent it to a friend to read.
I'll have to send you another one. And Albotain is one of the main characters, obviously, in the book. And he's a fascinating character, and I absolutely love Albotain, and I do feel that he brings a deep and profoundly interesting aspect of the storyline. He kind of opens up the spiritual aspects, doesn't he? And for me, he's as real as anybody, which kind of sounds a little odd, but I think when you spend so much time creating a character, they do truly and honestly become alive.
Absolutely, and the book is alive. I couldn't put the book down at night. My eyes were closing, and I just need to read another I just need to read a little more. And it was so captivating, and could you read us a part of your book, of one of your favorite parts of the book? That would be just terrific. I think our audience would like that as well.
Yeah, of course. Albotain also saw what happened to those who defied the laws of spirit, the villains, the murderers, and the thieves. He watched the true consequences of their depraved lives were shown to them by the guardian of the realms. He saw how they begged for mercy, racked with guilt and self-loathing, and as they realized what they had done to their fellow men, their brothers. He watched in awe as they chose their own punishment, eager to revisit the earth, to rewrite wrongs, and to make amends to those they tainted with their evilness. As a result of his newfound connection with spirit, this increased knowledge, Albotain's talents increased tenfold. Soon people were visiting from hundreds of miles away, traveling on horseback or on foot for days or even weeks. Often they would physically carry their sick and diseased loved ones. They would travel just to see this amazing healer, this man who seemed to be so much more than a mere mortal. As a result of his studies, Albotain learned to create astrological talismans, engraved discs that held a powerful magic. It took a great deal of ability to create these objects. The magician would carefully study the planets and stars, and once they were in the correct positions, only then would the talisman be created. The discs were usually made from silver or gold and had inscribed upon them magical and astrological symbols. Consequently, these special objects possessed highly potent magical powers. Albotain was adored by those who came to him. Before now, he'd never received this kind of attention. In the beginning, he shied away from the adoration and praise that was being heaped upon him. But in the end, he was no greater than any other man. Not really, not deep inside. Soon he began to accept, encourage even the affections and flattery that his patients and their families bestowed upon him. It was not long before the nobility and their consorts heard of his great skills, and so too came to him. They arrived at his door bearing gifts of luscious cloths, jewels set in silver and gold, and exquisite fruits from foreign lands recently conquered.
Wow, absolutely a treasure. I am sitting here with chills from the spirit and the wisdom that came out of just that one page. And thank you for reading that. And I have to, for people that are out there watching the show, how can people get your book, Sharon?
They can find out about my book from my website, www.sharonward.co.uk. I believe it's on your screen.
Yes.
And also through Amazon.com.
Yes. Okay, so that's pretty easy to do anywhere in the world.
Absolutely. Just go onto my website and you can find out all about it on there.
Yeah. This book, as I read it, being an astrologer, we both walk side by side, and it's lovely to be able to look into the purpose of people's lives, what their soul carries forward. And being that that's why one of the reasons that I so loved your book, because it was so deep, it was so intense, it was so it was fun, it was exciting, it was real, and having that, I have that. Like you, the ability to read astrology, it made a difference, but it brings me, and I'm sure a lot of people that are watching this show are saying, want to know a little bit about you and how long you've been studying astrology.
Okay, yeah. I began looking at astrology originally about 25 years ago. I actually originally went to enroll upon a psychology course in London, and it was full. And this astrology lady stood there and said, "Please come on my course, please come over here." So I thought, okay, and I did, and that was the beginning of my journey. So I think that was fated, definitely. Really, I started to study it in all seriousness about 20 years ago whilst I was expecting my daughter, and I had a little bit of time on my hands, so it was a kind of nice thing to do. But I ended up sitting for hours and hours, and I'm sure you have, Andrea, with books in front of you, poring over charts, and that was the beginning of my journey, really.
Wow, that's it really is a lifetime of work, and it's so nice to be able to connect with you, Sharon. And as we talked about in the beginning of the show, there's a lot of other abilities and gifts that you have as well that you're able to use. And when you work with someone, when they come to you, you're also a Reiki master. You're also a medium, a spirit rescuer, and it leads me to think: do you use your intuitive psychic abilities and your astrology readings as well?
Definitely, as I'm sure you as a very intuitive person do as well, Andrea. For me, astrology provides the framework, the factual part, but it's the intuition that gives the reading real fabric. It breathes life into the chart and into the reading itself.
Yes.
And I think personally that every chart has many different outcomes depending on the soul that it's connected to. Our free will allows us to work on a level that we choose. So my intuition helps me to understand at what level the client is connecting to the chart and how they're using it, how their consciousness is connecting with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does that make sense to you?
Absolutely, because it's interesting. My daughter, who's 14 years old, who always says, "Mom, I like to have your readings because I can see something in front of me," and then it's so cool because you can see the map of the person's life and what their makeup is, and so absolutely, I know the intuition it
builds it, doesn't it? And I also think it's tremendously empowering for a client to really understand their chart, and to understand the freedom of choice they have about how they use their birth chart, how they use their talents, how they reach their greatest potential. With clients, I often use the car analogy. I say a birth chart is like a car. You can leave it in the garage to fall apart, or you can drive it and you can learn to control it, and you can not only help yourself move onwards, but you can help other people move onwards too with that vehicle. So everything is a matter of choice, isn't it, really?
Absolutely, it is a matter of choice, and the interesting thing is you're a great storyteller too, and that makes you a great astrologer because
everything's a story, huh?
Everything is absolutely a story.
Yeah. I don't think there's any such thing as real fiction, is there? I think everything is a story and has some truth in it somewhere.
Yeah, and we all have our story, each and every one of us, which is so special in its own right. And Sharon is actually multi-talented, and she has, as you can see behind me, you can see her book, which is, it is a story of the journey of a soul. And but she also, as you heard me talk about before, has the moon sign jewelry. And can you tell us about your moon sign jewelry?
Yes, of course, Andrea. About 7 years ago, I was thinking about astrology and how most people are very aware of their sun or star sign, and I kind of wanted to bring other aspects of astrology into the public area so that people had access to not just sun signs but something else. And the logical thing from the sun sign, the next step is really moon signs. I don't know how much your audience knows, obviously, but we all have a sun or star sign based on our date of birth, but we also have a moon sign too. And often people don't know what their moon sign is, or they don't know very much about moon signs. So I feel that the moon sign and the connection to it opens up a whole new world, one which will help people understand astrology, but also will connect them with themselves, with a more soul-centered understanding of their own needs and their own emotions too. I think, obviously you know, Andrea, but the sun sign governs the self-identity, but the moon sign reveals the inner self, the quality of the soul. So I decided to create a line of jewellery, 12 moon sign pendants, one for each of the zodiac signs. I was very lucky. Fate guided me to a wonderful jeweller here in Guernsey called Catherine Best, and together we created the moon sign pendant range. Basically, she's based in Guernsey too, but we do both travel into the real world to talk about our passions and about the moon signs.
Well, it is very, very beautiful, and it is so nice to have some type of representation to remind you about what your moon side was, what sign,
Absolutely. And to be able to wear it and show the world who you are is a very broad statement. It's a very strong statement, isn't it, I think?
Absolutely, it really is, because if we could each understand each other's emotional ways of facing the world and how they emotionally work with things, it changes our life. So what a great reminder to have such a beautiful piece.
Well, I think it is. I think it's a great way of people connecting. At the moment, the moon sign pendants now are being sold through the Born Free Foundation, so the profits go to the Born Free Foundation. My husband has created a wonderful, simply easy-to-use moon sign calculator, and anybody wants to know what their moon sign is and have a look at the jewellery, that's on moonsigns.com. That's www.moon-signs.com, and they can have a look at the jewellery there. But Born Free is a fantastic charity, and they do some wonderful work, so it's for a very good cause.
Oh, that is so nice, so nice that
it's exciting,
you're spreading the wealth, so to speak.
Well, spreading the word, slowly but surely.
Yes, and what is the goal with the work that you do? With this, I mean, you've got so many wonderful talents, and what is your goal with all this work that you do, Sharon?
I want to bring something positive to the world, Andrea. I want to bring something good. The story of Albotains itself contains many experiences undergone by myself. It's not quite as fictional as the reader may perhaps think. So that's a way of sort of opening people to spirituality in a gentle and friendly way. Through Altotains Treasure and through the story, I hope to connect people to something bright, positive and transformational. Through the moon sign jewelry, I want people to connect to their own needs and to understand other people's needs more deeply too. I think that it's time we moved away from the ego-centered sun, not that it doesn't have its uses and its role within astrology, but towards something softer and more nurturing. As you know, the moon is connected with caring, and I think it's not only important that we learn to care for ourselves, but for each other and for the world as well.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And there's a different approach for each and every person. And Sharon, we are getting closer to the end of the show. We've got about 5 minutes left. And I know this is what's so exciting. Another very exciting part of what Sharon's bringing to the world is that she does have another book in the works. And can you tell us what we should expect and when is this going to be available?
Well, first of all, there will be another sequel to Albotains Treasure once I get a moment, just to let the audience know that. But I'm currently writing a book which is about empowering women through nutrition. Nutrition is an area that I've been very fascinated by for years, and I really believe that what we eat not only affects our bodies and our brains, but it also influences our personalities and how we respond to life. And my book is based on the premise that we are all goddesses, we're all powerful, and we are all perfect, and we just have to unleash that power within us through a balanced approach to health and well-being. I want to help astrology help the world, and through my astrology and nutrition book, I want to empower women and men too, so that they can become the very best that they can be.
So more ways to unite us as human beings, as spiritual beings.
Get the world moving, as you were saying, the change is to get things moving as positively and as quickly as possible towards a brighter future.
Oh, that is wonderful. I wish that the whole world could embrace that, as being, when you work with people on the level that you do and I do, and you see so many people, and there's so many people right now that are in such a place of change, such an incredible place of change, which
and that can be a hard place to be for a while without any support and help.
Absolutely, absolutely, and it takes a lot of compassion and understanding, and the people that really remind us the most and are that we, even as astrologers, we're human beings. We live, we feel, we experience just like everyone else. And but it is in this changing world, we it just can be really, like you say in the book, HR, harsh reality. It can really be, it can be harsh.
It's a tough battle. It's a constant struggle, isn't it, towards the light?
It is, and being alive requires that balance. So, I am so thrilled that you took the time to, and your daughter. Thank you to your daughter. How do you say her name? Evie. Yeah, you have a beautiful family, but I wanted to say special thanks to Evie. Thank you. And a big thank you to you, Sharon, too, for walking this walk and for being the guest on Turn to the Stars today. Turn to the Stars is now available to be watched on YouTube. It's been for some time, and we do see that, obviously, by, that we reached you, that it's working. All that we're doing, all that you're doing, it's working. So I want to say huge thank you, Sharon, for you taking the time to come on Turn to the Stars.
Oh, thank you, Andrew, and thank you for your time as well.
You're very welcome, and I want to say thank you to everybody out there who's watched Turn to the Stars once again, and I want to just really quickly before the end of the show remind you all that this Saturday at the Yard in Manchester, New Hampshire, we do have the incredible workshop, day-and-a-half workshop, ESP development workshop going on. If you haven't registered already, please just take some time to take a look, and we would love to see you. And you can always contact me at www.turntothestars.com. And as you can see on the screen, one more reminder, Sharon's website is right there at the bottom of the screen, and that is www.sharonward.co.uk. And we both thank all of you for watching Turn to the Stars today. Have a great week and take good care, and we hope that all your life experiences become treasures. Take good care. We'll see you next week.